Time goes on, everything changes. If we were to ask you right now, dear viewers, which Alfa Romeo truck you like best, you'd probably be surprised and ask in return, wait, does the Italian company Alfa Romeo even make trucks? And you'd be right. As of today, this famous Italian automaker is renowned for its passenger cars of various classes, which are successfully conquering the global market. But it wasn't always this way. Nowadays, few people remember, but in the mid-20th century, Alfa Romeo trucks were considered true style icons, captivating everyone with their elegant design. And that's no surprise, since the world-famous brand known for producing luxury, high-performance cars tried to give even its trucks a touch of comfort and premium quality. The era of producing their own trucks in Alfa Romeo's history began in 1930. At that time, the young car company, headquartered in Turin with a factory in the town of Portello, was barely 20 years old, but it already had considerable experience and success in the market. Founded in 1910 by French engineer Alexander Derrick and influential Milanese investor Ugo Stella, the company Anonima Lombarda Fabbrica Automobili, or simply Alfa, began producing its own passenger cars. The first was the Alfa Romeo 24 HP model, equipped with an engine producing 42 horsepower. Later, the company also released models with more powerful engines, 40 and 60 HP. All these cars were primarily used for participating in various auto races, including the Targa Florio. In August 1915, during World War I, the company came under the control of Neapolitan entrepreneur Nicola Romeo, who involved Alfa in fulfilling military orders for the Italian and Allied armies. At the Portello plant, they began producing various types of military equipment, compressors, generators, and aircraft engines. With the profits earned during the war, Romeo purchased locomotive and railway factories in Serrano, Naples, and Rome, which were later incorporated into the Alfa company. The production of sports and road cars resumed after the end of the First World War. The new models began to be produced under the new name, Alfa Romeo. In the 1920s, such successful cars as the Alfa Romeo P2, 6C, and 8C were designed, which repeatedly achieved victories in Grand Prix races, the Mille Miglia, and Le Mans. At that time, the driver, and later the longtime manager of the Alfa Corsa factory racing team, was Enzo Ferrari, who would go on to become the famous sports car manufacturer. Based on Alfa Romeo sports cars, road versions of passenger vehicles were also produced, which were mainly purchased by wealthy clients. In other words, in the 1920s, the production of passenger cars was not the company's main source of income. During these years, most of the company's production capacity was still devoted to fulfilling military contracts, as well as manufacturing railway rolling stock, locomotives, and carriages. A difficult period in the company's history began at the end of the 20s, when Nicola Romeo, having completed all the military contracts, stepped away from the business, leaving the company drowning in debt. The global economic crisis, which began in the United States in 1929 as the Great Depression and soon spread rapidly around the world, hitting Europe especially hard, did nothing to lift spirits either. In 1932, on the verge of bankruptcy, Alfa Romeo came under the control of the Italian state financial industrial group, Institute for Industrial Reconstruction, or IRI for short, which had been specially created by Benito Mussolini's fascist government to save Italian banks and industrial enterprises from bankruptcy during the Great Depression. It was precisely the early 30s that opened a new chapter in Alfa Romeo's history, the production of trucks. This move was meant to help the company stay afloat during these difficult times and expand its presence in the automotive market. Many car companies of that era used a similar approach, trying to expand their product range as much as possible, which could include everything from bicycles and motorcycles to trucks and buses. The foundation for the truck production program was laid by Alfa Romeo in the fall of 1929, when a licensing agreement was signed with the German companies Bussing and Deutz for the production of heavy trucks and engines for them. Already in 1931, the first Alfa Romeo 50 Bition truck rolled out of the gates of the Portello factory near Milan. It was the 5-ton bonnet, 2-axle truck with rear-wheel drive. The vehicle was equipped with a 6-cylinder diesel engine with a displacement of 10.6 liters and a power output of 80 horsepower. The engine was paired with a 4-speed manual transmission. The Bition was a licensed copy of the German Bussing K&K 50 truck and had an identical hood and cab design to its German counterpart. The truck could also tow a 2-axle trailer with a total weight of 14 tons. The maximum speed of the Alfa Romeo 50 was only 33 kilometers per hour. Production of this model continued until 1934. In total, only 115 units were produced. In parallel with the 2-axle model, production also continued for the 6-ton 3-axle Alfa Romeo 80 truck, which was likewise a licensed copy of busing and had a design unified with the 2-axle vehicle. The Model 80 was equipped with a 4-cylinder diesel engine with a displacement of 11.5 liters and an output of 110 horsepower. Production of this vehicle also continued until 1934 and was even more limited. Only 29 units were made in total. In 1934, Alfa Romeo released a new truck, the Model 85, which featured the brand's signature radiator grille and a long, straight hood. The engine installed in this truck was taken from the previous Model 80. This model had an extended wheelbase and a version with an enlarged cargo platform. In 1938, the 3-axle, 10-ton Alfa Romeo Model 110 was also introduced, equipped with an engine producing 125 horsepower. This vehicle became the basis for large city buses. In 1935, due to the rather low demand for its Model 85 and 110 trucks, Alfa Romeo released a somewhat lighter alternative to the market, a 4-ton Model 350 truck, which was equipped with a 6-cylinder diesel engine producing 85 horsepower. In 1937, the company presented its last bonnet truck, the Alfa Romeo Model 500, which at the same time became one of the best and most mass-produced in the entire line of Alfa Romeo bonnet trucks. This truck was produced in 3 main versions: diesel, gasoline, and gas-powered. The basic flatbed truck was equipped with a 6-cylinder diesel engine with a displacement of 6.1 liters and a power output of 75 horsepower. During World War II, the Model 500 was supplied in large numbers to the Italian Royal Army. This was a specialized gasoline modification, the Alfa 500RI. The vehicle could reach a maximum speed of 45 kilometers per hour, climb slopes with a gradient of 27%, and travel about 400 kilometers on a full 100-liter tank. Army buses 500DR were also built on the truck's chassis. From 1937 to 1940, the Alfa Romeo 500 was also used by the Italian Fire Department as a fire truck. Specialized versions of the 500 model were used by Alfa Romeo and Scuderia Ferrari to transport their Grand Prix and Formula One racing cars. In 1940, the company began producing its first truck with a cab-over-engine design. This was the 2-axle Alfa Romeo 800 model. At first, the military RI version was produced, which was used by the Italian Army during World War II in North Africa, occupied France, and the USSR. The vehicle was equipped with an 8.7-liter diesel engine with an injector, producing 108 horsepower. The truck's curb weight is 5.5 tons. The maximum speed is 50 kilometers per hour. The 800 model could also be equipped with a gasoline engine or a gas installation. Overall, the vehicle featured a simple design with a rounded cab shape, a 2-section windshield that narrowed in the center, and a basic tubular radiator grille. Production of this truck model continued until 1947. In 1942, based on the 800 model, a somewhat smaller truck was built, the Alfa Romeo Model 430. The vehicle was equipped with a 4-cylinder diesel engine with a displacement of 5.8 liters and a power output of 80 horsepower. The transmission was a 4-speed manual. The curb weight of the vehicle was 3 tons 350 kilograms. The maximum speed was 65 kilometers per hour. On a single tank, the truck could travel 390 kilometers. During World War II, anti-aircraft weapons, 20mm Scotty automatic cannons, were mounted on the platforms of a number of these vehicles. After the war, trucks of this model were produced for commercial use and were painted in more cheerful, bright colors. Both models, military and civilian, were produced until 1950. In 1947, to replace the 800 model, the company developed a new cab-over-engine truck, the Alfa Romeo 900, which featured a redesigned cab with a wider lower section and a new elongated radiator grille with 5 horizontal bars. The vehicle was produced in both 2-axle and 3-axle configurations. The wheels of the third, rearmost axle were also steerable. The truck was equipped with an inline 6-cylinder diesel engine with a displacement of 9.5 liters and an output of 130 horsepower. The vehicle's payload capacity reached about 9 tons. The maximum speed was 70 kilometers per hour. This truck found wide application, from construction to long-distance road transport. The chassis of this vehicle was also used for mounting superstructures. In addition, trolleybuses and buses such as the Alfa 900A and Alfa 900AF were built based on this model. Production of the 900 model continued until 1954, after which a new 950 model was released, featuring certain modernization improvements. Perhaps one of the most innovative and elegant trucks of its time was the Alfa Romeo Mille model, with a payload capacity ranging from 8 to 11 tons. The vehicle was equipped with an 11-liter diesel engine producing between 163 and 174 horsepower. The transmission was an 8-speed manual. A special level of comfort for the driver was provided by the new spacious cab with a sleeping berth. This truck became easily recognizable thanks to its unique apple-shaped radiator grille. This model was produced with different wheelbase lengths in both 2- and 3-axle configurations, and came as flatbed trucks, dump trucks, tractors, vans, as well as chassis for mounting various superstructures. An interesting model was released in 1963 by the Italian company Bartoletti. This was a trailer version of the Mille truck, which could transport up to 8 cars on 2 levels. The model received a special name, Mille Motori Aviazioni, and it could also carry aircraft engines developed by Alfa Romeo. The Mille, or the Model 1000, became the swan song in Alfa Romeo's program for building heavy trucks. Due to the company's difficult financial situation and intense competition in the global truck market, Alfa Romeo decided to end its heavy-duty vehicle program and instead focus on producing passenger cars. In 1964, the production of heavy trucks at Alfa Romeo's factories was discontinued, and the Mille model, under a licensing agreement, was transferred to the Brazilian company F&M, where it was produced under the new name F&M 180 until 1980. Thus ended, albeit a brief, yet vibrant chapter in the history of the Italian automaker, which gave the global automotive industry some interesting trucks crafted in the elegant style characteristic of Alfa Romeo.